What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here today with the review for Married to Medicine, Season 6, Episode 12, titled Barbecues, Biscuits, and Birth Control. So without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so this episode picked up where it ended last week, was with the big huge fight between Mariah and Dr. Heavenly. So, Quad is like, if she knew that things would have escalated to this point that they got to, she would have never even entertained the questions that Mariah was asking. And, Simone, she goes and chases behind Mariah and Aiden. And, she's telling them that, she's really trying to calm Mariah down because Mariah is still, actually Mariah and Aiden were still very much upset, which Mariah did have every right to be upset. And so actually Aiden really had the most right out of anybody to be upset, because I didn't think Aiden did anything wrong. He didn't have to address Heavenly at one point. But when he said something to Damon, like, the families are off limits, I think Dr. Damon took that and flipped it for some odd reason. And like I said, Aiden has the most right out of anybody to be upset. And then, Mariah trying to talk to Simone about, Heavenly always mentioning your mama. And, I get it where she's coming from. Her mama ain't done nothing to her. Mama Lucy has not even been on this season that much to say anything about, Heavenly. So Heavenly really should stop with the whole your mama thing, because it's getting old, it's played out, and it's just, if you ain't got nothing else to say, be like, you know what, bitch, you win. That's as easy as it can be, because like I said, just to keep saying your mama, that's her only go-to, is your mama this and your mama that. Like that's something like a kid would say, somebody who's, has no witty comeback, and that's exactly what it is. Heavenly has no comebacks when it comes to Mariah. When Mariah throws shade and stuff at her, the only thing that she can come back with her is your mama this and your mama that. Like I said, it will get old and they will get played out eventually. All right, so then we move over to day 2. So I'm gonna split this up since they were separated. You had the men and you had the women on 2 different sides of the house. So, day 2, it opens up with Dr. Jackie and Curtis. They in bed. Jackie's trying to blame the men for the night, what happened the night before. And Curtis is saying, no, it was all the women, which I definitely agree with them, because if Toya hadn't asked a question, Mariah would have never asked, I don't think Mariah would have asked Quad her question, which then spiraled to Heavenly saying something to Mariah, Mariah breaking the flute, Heavenly throwing a chair, Heavenly saying, yo mama. I think it's all the women. Then you got, Quad, she's in her room by herself, and she's showing us a picture, showing us a view of the water, which was absolutely beautiful. Then you got Contessa and Dr. Scott. They in her room, and she's talking about how this one in her breast has gone down, which that's good. And then you got Toya and Eugene in their room, and Toya is still upset about Contessa, and I'm like, girl, let it go. I mean, I get it. She don't want to feel like the girl is blaming her for for accidentally hitting her breast, but Toya, you have done some crazy shit, so it's not too far out of the realm, but I definitely get it. So on day 2, they are doing a barbecue, and so next we'll talk about the individual, the groups. All right, so for this barbecue, the men, Dr. Eugene, he is cooking food for a barbecue. He has Toya's beans, which he put garlic in. I'm like, why would you put some garlic in some beans? That I wouldn't even eat that shit. I would have spit that shit out. So the men go outside and buy the grill. They're cooking, and everybody comes down. And once Dr. Scott gets there, they tell him, you missed a good time last night, which you ain't missed shit last night, because it was a whole bunch of craziness that happened. So then we have Damon talking about how he didn't sleep well last night because of all the stuff that happened. And then, Aiden says that he did not want Heavenly talking about Mariah's mama, because like I said earlier, that's always Heavenly's go-to, is your mama this and your mama that. And that's all Aiden was trying to say, was, leave the families out of this. And then, Cecil, he was on Aiden's side, because he said originally he thought that Aiden had said something to Heavenly, but then once he finally realized that, Aiden was just trying to tell him, keep the families out of this, he felt that Dr. Damon, took things out of control, which I absolutely agree. He did take it out of control. And then he basically just said, Dr. Damon says that his feelings were hurt. And I absolutely get why his feelings were hurt, because he says he's never cheated on his wife. And for Mariah to have brought that up, that Dr. Damon cheated on his wife, it just hurt his feelings. But then Aiden says, but your wife has said some stuff too about me. And Bravo played the flashback to I think that was the first episode of the season when Heavenly said, worry about your husband with his small stuff. And I'm just like, Heavenly, why do you like both of them? They do both hit below the belt. Like, I'm gonna say that both Mariah and Heavenly definitely hit below the belt. But I can't even say who starts it, because they try to, when they come together, they try to be civil, but then eventually it just goes completely left. I'm like, how do y'all come into an event and speak to each other, but then y'all leave the event arguing and cussing each other out, talking about your husbands, talking about your mamas? They need to grow the fuck up is what they really need to do. So, they do apologize to each other. So that was mature of both of them. And, Dr. Damon says that, I'll talk to Heavenly and I'll tell her to stop talking about her mom. And I'm just like, okay, you can talk to Heavenly all you want to, but I just don't believe that it's going to stop with Heavenly, if you want me to be honest with you. All right, so next we're going to move over to the women. They're out there by the pool, and Contessa comes out there and joins them. And, when Contessa comes out, she tries to speak to Toya, and Toya gives her the complete cold shoulder. And I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Like, you stupid. Like, this girl's trying to talk to you, speak to you, but you want to act like this. Whatever, Toya. And, not Heavenly, but Contessa's like, okay, bitch, fine. I ain't got to speak to your whole ass. Like, the fuck? So then, Simone asks Contessa, how is she? She says she's absolutely much better. And then, Simone tells her how ugly dinner got. So then Mariah's, Toya, not Toya, but Heavenly, she says that she was wrong, which she was. And then, Mariah, she apologized to Quad. She's like, what? I shouldn't even mention your marriage. So for that, I apologize. She said, but everything that I was doing was coming from a loving place. And, Quad was like, I could feel that. And then, Mariah says that she accidentally broke that flute. I'm like, screw? You accidentally broke that shit? You had it like this, and then you went down and broke it. Like, that's not an accident, Mariah. That was intentional. And, she's talking about how she accidentally broke the glass, just like how Dr. Damon broke the glass. And Bravo played a flashback to where he was holding that glass and it just broke in his hand. That's not what you did, Mariah. You intentionally broke that glass. And she kept saying that, like, she kept repeating it. And Heavenly got upset, which I was on Heavenly's side with this one. Like, absolutely. Mariah's full of shit. Talking about she accidentally broke that glass. No, the hell you did not. You intentionally broke that glass. Like, just say, you know what, I was pissed off. It was a heat of the moment and I just broke the motherfucking glass. I wasn't gonna do nothing with it, but I just broke the bitch. That's all you had to say. So then Heavenly gets up and leaves. She goes inside, and then Toya goes in there and chases behind her. And Toya did say, you know what, she did break that glass on purpose. And then then she's talking about Contessa. I'm like, oh my god, like, will this shit go away with her and Contessa? Like, I'm over it. Like, really? Ugh. And then so they go back outside. So Jackie says they want to bring Contessa back into the group. And she says that Toya, so now she's on, Contessa's talking about how Toya didn't text her to say she, check on her or say she was sorry. And, Toya's like, but I did say I was sorry. And, Quad's like, yeah, she did say sorry. But Contessa was like, but I did not say that I was okay. So whatever. Like, and I do get it. Like, if she didn't say she was okay, that means she was just in that much pain that she couldn't say anything. But you could have at least later texted and be like, hey girl, sorry about hitting you on your boob. Are you good? Do you need me to do something for you? Do you need this? Do you need that? Just a little bit of a little text goes a long way. So then so then Toya starts to scream at Contessa. I'm like, oh my god, like, here we go with this bullshit. So Simone tells Toya, that basically this is your trip. You're the leader. You need to take the lead. And then Toya listens to what Simone says, and then she finally apologizes. She's like, okay, let's move forward with Contessa. And I'm like, finally. But I don't think this shit's gonna die down at this point. All right, so now we have Toya and Eugene's anniversary dinner. So, the dinner would have been cool if they had not brought this sex talk with it. I was like, oh God, Toya, like, you can't just sit here and eat your food and not talk about sex. Like, what the fuck? So Simone asked Heavenly, did she say what is her best sex night or what is her best sex like? I couldn't understand what she said, but I do know what Heavenly said. She said, "Oh, Daddy likes it when I put it in my mouth." I'm like, ugh, too much information. Nobody wants to hear that. Even Damon was like, "Really, buddy? You didn't have to say that. Like, can we move to the next question?" Like, oh God, that shit is so nasty. So then Heavenly asked Simone and Cecil, what is the key to their relationship? Yeah. Yeah, so they both said, Simone says friends, and then Cecil says, picking the right person. And then, Simone says she's basic in bed. And Toya, big mouth ass, gonna sit there and say, basic? What you mean basic? And I'm like, Toya, shut up and let her speak. Even Eugene had to tell her to shut up and just let her speak. She's like, no, if I got the biscuit, then I talk. Well, Simone's like, well, bitch, I have a biscuit too, so I'm gonna talk. And then Eugene takes the biscuit and then gives it to Simone, and Toya gets in her feelings, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, is this because of the biscuit? Basic? What is this about? And I was thinking this when she got so heated like this. I'm like, is Toya on her period? Like, I didn't want to be offensive to anybody, but she was just acting like it was that time of the month. Like, really, because she went from 0 to 1,000 like really quick. Because then she started arguing with Eugene, and I'm like, why are you arguing with him? Because he's saying just let Simone say what she gonna say. And then Simone was like, but this is 22 years right here, whereas your husband had to jack off. And I'm like, oh shit. So then, like I said, Toya was just melting down and crying, and they all tried to, tell her, oh, what's going on, Toya? So then Simone was like, you know what, Toya, let's go to the restroom. When they was walking to the restroom, she said, is it that time of the month? And I'm like, I knew I wasn't the only person that saw that shit. Like, really? So then, she tries to calm her down, and she tells her, why are you arguing with your husband? Like, this is y'all trip. And then Toya was like, you know what, you right. So then she goes back down there where everybody is, and she apologizes too, because actually Eugene is like, I apologize to my wife, and now this. And then she's like, stop apologizing. And then she tells him, I took some birth control pills because I was trying to control my period. And I'm like, I knew it was something with your menstrual cycle. I didn't want to be offensive, but I knew it was something with that, because for her to go that extreme that fast was crazy. Like, what? So, and she also said that she was just trying to live up to, since this is her trip, she was trying to live up to the past trips of the past 6 years. And, him like, oh, it's hard, right? She was like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, girl, whatever. Like, I couldn't with her. So, she said she wants to rebuild her relationship with Contessa. And Contessa's like, you know what? We can meet at the middle ground and we'll be good. So they move forward from that. And then Toya says that she wants Mariah and Heavenly to put, the thing with them, they're both equally to blame, and it's petty on both sides. And then she said, you know what, you got your husbands in both each other's faces. And then Mariah gets so upset, she's like, the husbands were in their faces. And I'm like, Mariah, I don't think she means literally they were in each other's faces. I think she means that because of the drama between you two, it is now spilling over into your husbands, and now they are getting involved. So then Mariah and Aiden are having a little side conversation with each other, and I'm so happy that Eugene clocked that. Like, I'm so happy that he clocked it, because like, if y'all are gonna say something, say it out loud so everybody can hear you, because you guys are right here in front of me trying to whisper, but I can hear everything that you're saying. And I'm, like I said, I'm so glad that he put that shit out there. So then, Mariah and them gets upset. Mariah and Aiden gets upset, and they leave, and Toya chases them behind their asses. And then, Mariah's like, oh, Aiden's sick. Girl, how was he sick? When did he get sick? Like, if he was sick, y'all should have never even came to the dinner. Like, fuck out of here, Mariah. And then she's talking about, well, she doesn't feel like she's a part of the group. I'm like, oh my God, here we go with this shit again. And can anybody, I'm looking at, I'm gonna take this. I was looking at Quad's wig. It looked a little stiff to me. I'm like, that wig is ugly, has nothing to it. But, so Toya goes back to the table, and, they just like, what, let the shit go, because she tells them that Mariah doesn't feel like she's a part of the group. But they all just say, what, let that shit go, which I agreed with them. Like, Mariah just wanted somebody to chase after her, I feel, and have a pity party for herself. And that's just how I feel. I don't care how anybody else feels. That's how I feel. I also forgot to say, So when they were having a conversation, when Toya was talking to them, you know, Mariah said that, you know what, I just won't say shit to Quad or to Heavenly, because Simone said, you know what did Simone say? Well, she just said for them, you know, can they, you know, not have can they not do anything with each other? You know, when it comes to those two, just don't even acknowledge each other pretty much. And then, you know, Mariah wants, you know, to say, you know, keep the mamas off the table. Here is one time that I will agree with what Quad said. Quad made a valid point because, you know, Mariah wants to talk about how her mama should be off the table. Well, Damon should be off the table as well because that is Heavenly's family. Just like, you know, you gotta look at your mom every day. Damon and Heavenly have to look at each other every day, and they are family. So I absolutely agree with Quad because that is a huge double standard. Like, you can talk about her husband, but she can't talk about your mama. So, you know, I definitely agree with Quad in this that one scene. I agree with her. All right, and then lastly, we go to day 3. So, you know, Heavenly goes and checks on Toya. Toya's good. And, you know, so then you had Mariah and Aiden. I guess they are the ones who set up the day's events. So it's a love boat that they're going on. So then all the couples get together. Not Mariah, but Heavenly and Toya have the same outfit on. And, you know, so they get to the love boat. So they have split up once again. You got the men on one side and the women together. So then, you know, Simone is like, you know what, we want to welcome Contessa back into the group. And then Contessa mentions her surgery again. And then Simone gets in her feelings, like, she was like, we know you had a surgery. Like, you used that like a crutch or something. And I'm like, oh my God, this is about to be an argument over a fucking surgery. Like, are you serious? And lo and behold, it was an argument. So the man could hear Simone's loud ass mouth yelling at Contessa, and that's how the episode ended, with it to be continued. So that was Married to Medicine. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. Like, I'm really over. I don't know why Bravo is doing this, putting this shit on a Saturday night. Like, I know tonight why it wouldn't be on the Sunday, because the People's Choice Awards are on, but that's just 1 week. Like, what the fuck? But like I said, I will see you guys later from Real Housewives of Atlanta.